What's up YouTube, my name is Alec, and in today's video I'm giving you the updated Ace guide for year 8. Let's get into the video. Ace is undoubtedly the best hard breacher in the entire game right now. When it comes to versatility, he is the all-around best hard breaching package for solo queue environments. He has a good gun, a ranged hard breach, the breach is just big enough to where it's not an issue, and to top it off, it's actually very fast. He also has the best gun on attack in the entire game, the AK-12, making him one of the best well-rounded solo queue operators in the entire game. Speaking of his AK-12, let's go over his loadout. His loadout is exceptional and consists of, obviously, the AK-12, which I talked about being very oppressive because of its high fire rate, high damage, 1.5 times scope, and overall pretty low recoil. His pistol is also pretty good, being an overall great secondary firearm to back up anything that your AK-12 can't hit. And then he has breaching charges or claymores. Most of the time you're going to want to bring claymores to watch your flank, especially if you're playing support and droning for your team, but bringing breaching charges to get exterior walls, castle barricades, hatches, or anything you know your teammates aren't going to get is also viable. And then of course we have his Aqua Selma breaches. Like I said at the beginning of the video, these breaches are very versatile and they're exceptional at getting reinforced walls. They're two segments that are very quick each, so even if you don't end up getting the entire ace off and getting the wall open, you'll still have head holes that you're able to peek off of. One thing about his breach specifically that most other hard breachers can't account for is the fact that it is a ranged hard breaching gadget. This means that you don't have to go up to the wall and put yourself in danger in order to get the wall open. You can play at it from a distance, which is very good for certain maps. On screen, I'm bringing you to the master balcony side of Oregon. The master bedroom is brought on with a lot of pressure. There's a lot of angles that can make it to where you can't walk in this door to get the wall open. You have the trophy angles, the head holes from armory, or just anybody sitting in master in general. With ace, you don't have to actually be exposed to any of this danger because you can sit on the balcony and throw your ace charge through both of the doorways to hit the wall, making you able to get the wall open without actually having to be in any sort of danger. It's also easily able to be gotten open because again, his breaching charges are very quick and you can always go below to get anything that's off of the wall by yourself. This is met with its fair share of dangers as there are roamers below typically most of the time, which brings me into my next point. You are still a support operator. You can kind of get lost in the sauce playing ace because of his 2 armor 2 speed and his good gun, but you ultimately have to remember your role as an ace. It is a support player. Support players are meant to use their utility to win rounds, not necessarily their gun skill or getting kills. I know this can seem very tempting to do so because he has the AK-12 with a 1.5, but that is not his main objective. As a support player, you want to be droning in. Most of the time, you'll drone in yourself to get the wall open, but a lot of times you need to drone your entries so that they can help you get the wall open if there's any players in between you or the wall. A great example is again this Oregon example. If you know that there's something on the wall that you can get yourself, you can drone in your entry through bottom main, classroom, Z-hall, split, and meeting to make sure there's no roamers, and then once you've done that, you can go below classroom, shoot the bandit charges, mute charges, or cade charges, and then you can go back to the balcony and throw your ace charge through both of those doorways like I mentioned earlier. You can do all of this while being completely safe, not only because he has his ranged hard breach like I talked about earlier, but because you're droning in your teammates like a true support should. Just because you have a good gun doesn't mean that you have the capacity to entry, because if you do die taking the risk trying to be an entry player, your team loses its hard breach. And like I said, ace is extremely versatile, but he does have one specific weakness, and it's that he can't get hatches efficiently. As ace, it actually takes 2 ace charges out of your 3 to open 1 reinforced hatch. So if there's ever a bomb site that you need to open up more than 1 hatch for, I would definitely recommend bringing just hard breaching charges or Habana to get this job done instead of ace. That being said, you only want to be using ace for exterior reinforced walls or anything of that nature. Now as ace, there's a multitude of different ways that you can open a wall with his breaching charge. You can just look at a wall and throw it on the wall, but then you have to vault through it and you can't just walk through it like you would be able to do with thermite. So what a lot of people do is they'll put 1 ace charge on the wall and then they'll put a third one either above or below it depending on where their first ace charge landed. This way you have 3 holes for 1 breach instead of just 2, and you're able to walk or crouch through it instead of having to vault through it, which is a lot slower and more dangerous. Another thing you can do is simply just placing your ace charge lower. This way you don't have to vault through the wall or the breach that you make, you can just instead crouch through it, which is a lot quicker and less dangerous than vaulting through the breach. One final thing you can do as ace, as a different variation of getting the wall open, is you can ace trick. This is essentially destroying the soft portion of the wall next to the reinforcement and putting an ace charge at the top and the bottom of the wall. This will completely destroy the reinforcement that is on the wall, making a thermite-sized breach hole with just ace and only 2 breaching charges, which is very, very powerful. But in my opinion, at that point, you might as well just bring thermite because he does have the same hole size and he is just a tad bit quicker than ace charges are. As ace, you don't also want to be just putting 1 hole in the wall. You want to be putting 2. 1 for head holes and 1 for an actual hole that you're going to walk through. You can put head holes and just head holes on a reinforced wall with an ace charge by deploying the ace charge on the wall and shooting the second charge that has yet to be deployed so that whenever the first charge explodes, it doesn't activate the second one and now you just have a line of head holes. This is really good for sites like CCTV wall on Clubhouse. That way you're able to peek rafters and you're still able to walk in whenever you need to get the bomb down. Another viable way to use ace that is very cool about him is, like I said, thermite has the fastest breach, but ace has 2 breaches within his breach, which are both faster than thermites, even though accumulated over time, he does take longer longer to open an entire wall. This being said, if you want to counter a bandit trigger or a Cade trigger, all you have to do is throw 2 aces on the wall with an EMP, and they will not be able to trick both of your aces because of how quick the first segment is. So they will be able to get one of your ace charges, but they won't be able to get the second. And if you're going against a Cade, they'll be able to get the first ace charge, maybe, but they won't be able to get the second, and you'll still have some head holes left over. Typically as well, if they do get the first ace charge and they don't get the second ace charge explosion will destroy the bandits on the first wall, allowing you to open the first wall that you tried to get that was bandit tricked open after the second wall is open that you tried to get. So for that being said, he is definitely the best hard breacher to go against bandit tricking and Cade tricking, which is extremely powerful if you just have teammates that bring EMP grenades and you know where the utility has been set down. And then finally, once you've used all of your utility correctly and you've droned in your entries like you're supposed to do, now it's time to use that AK-12 that I've been talking about. Again, with this 1.5 times scope, high damage, high fire rate, high ammo count, and low recoil, you can really clean up with this thing. As ace, you should be having diffuser, so once you drone your entries in, you open the wall and you let them go in for you, you should be going down and planting the bomb. Once you have the bomb planted, maybe a few entries have died, maybe they've backed off site, you can use your AK-12 to bait the diffuser. Or you can use that AK-12 to further push into site, establish control so that maybe one of your teammates can plant for you. Either way, using the AK-12 to finalize rounds instead of getting entry kills is wildly important, and it's how you should be playing ace. Overall, ace is wildly versatile, very powerful, very easy to use, and effective when you do use him, with a great gun, making him the perfect all-around solo queue operator if you want to play hard breach but you still want to get kills along the way. With that out of the way, that's it for the entire video. If you like videos like this, sub to the channel down below, as I am posting 4 times a week with an operator guide every single Monday. Let me know what operator you want next. Like the video if you liked it. My name's Alka, and I will see you on the next video. Later.